Today on the Point Blank Performance YouTube channel, we've got another 23 A's in. Now this is a build you guys have been waiting for, right? MOD VGT, a Tater Built turbocharger, 63 millimeter. When I was building Mr. Clean, the compound truck, you can check it out here. We done over 700 real horsepower. He was building his truck. Let me tell you about it. It's got 100 over injectors. He's got a 10 mil CP3 pump, pay attention, and he's got a fleece in-tank lift pump. I've never done that low pressure with that kind of high pressure. Meaning, we got a bunch of injector, I don't have a bunch of low pressure fuel and high pressure. So this is gonna be interesting of where we can take this truck. He has a D&J performance head, right? He did a cam swap. This thing has a damn billet shelf on it. This is a tow truck, but it's set up like a damn drag truck and a Tater Built 63 millimeter. So we've got calibration 3 set up in the truck. We're gonna do 3, 4, 5. 5, get down to business, right? 3, we're here to party, and that's where we're at. So the truck is warmed up. Over here to the side, I'm gonna be watching the low pressure pump to see if it's actually gonna keep up. So if you guys wanna know about that hose hanging out the door, that's what it is. So I've got that where I can glance down at it. We're looking anything over 10, 12 PSI. Data log's running. We're gonna get this thing in 5th gear. Keep in mind, it is an ASIN setup. All right, 3rd gear, 4th. Hear that whistle? That's horsepower, baby. All right, data log's running. Let's get it in 5th gear. RPMs are good. Not gonna try to beat up on it. We're getting some good bass lines. So 464 real horsepower, 882 feet-pound of torque. Now hang tight, it's just a little bit of fuel. We're just getting our feet wet. We're just filling this baby out, see what it's actually gonna do. Now we're looking at, drive pressure. We're looking at boost pressure. We're looking at shaft speed. We're not trying to send this turbocharger to go see Jesus. We're trying to have Jesus come to us. We're gonna make some power. So looking at this thing, we had a little bit of fuel, shaft speed, just over 100,000. So we had 34 PSI boost pressure, really good. Spun this thing to 3,000 RPMs. Rail pressure's hanging in there. What do we need to do? Go to calibration 4, add some more damn fuel. Let's see what this thing's made out of. A 464 on that amount of fuel, we're doing pretty good. All right guys, calibration 4 is loaded up to it. 10 mil pump, gonna give it a little bit of fuel, see what it's made out of. Not gonna get too wild with it. 2200, 2800. Let's get this baby rocking and rolling. Our goal here is this would be like a fun street version, right? Calibration 4. Wants to dance. Turbocharger sounds pretty freaking good, guys. Alright, 4th gear, bringing it up on 5th gear. Truck's warmed up, 2200, 2850. Flat footing it, nothing crazy. Data log's running. Was a pull. That was a pull. Let me get this graph pulled up. Every time we run one of these, I get more. This is wild. 677 real horsepower, 1,233 feet-pound of torque. Now, rail pressure's hanging in there pretty good. Rods are still in the block, not out of the block. Let me stop this data log. I'm gonna look at boost real quick. That way you guys kind of know where we're landing here on calibration 4. 42 PSI, nothing crazy. Timing's chill. Everything's good on that. Not a lot of fuel, but we ain't got a lot of fuel to play with because we only have a 10 mil pump. So I'm gonna reach out to the customer, call him, say, hey, we got 677. What's our goal? What are we doing here with the truck? Overall, it's a tow truck, but what do you want to see this thing make? So calibration 4, we done 670 rear wheel horsepower. I reached out to the client and said, hey, we're 670 on your setup. He's like, well, I really want over 700 horsepower on this truck. And I said, okay, it's gonna be a little bit of a stretch. He said, well, Firepunk holds the record to a Tater Built 63 turbocharger. I said, oh, do they now? I had no idea about this magical record, right? Those guys run the diesel game. Much respect to them. But by God, if we got this truck on the dyno, we're gonna see what this bitch is made out of. We got 100 over injectors. They had 80 over injectors. We've got a single driven 10 mil pump. They had an over driven 10 mil pump. So rail pressure's gonna get a little bit sketchy. But we're gonna turn this bitch up a little bit. We're gonna see what it's made out of. We're going after the record. Asian lovers around the world, it's dyno time. Truck's warmed up. I'm about to have a mini heart attack. It's gonna be a quick pull. All right, what we're gonna do is we are going from 2,300 RPMs, 2,950. It'll read about 3,200 on the RPM gauge. Fifth gear. Coolant temp's good. Coolant temp is coming up, 162. Data log's running. Third gear, coolant temp's there. Fourth. Fifth. 2,300. Pump this baby up. Go. 756 rear wheel horsepower, 1,315 feet-pound of torque. Hell yeah. Let's check out, see what we got. All right, turbo shaft speed. Let me look at the log here. Perfect, within check. Rail pressure, barely hanging in there. 26,000, 26,000. 26,000 is where we land on rail pressure. So the rail pressure's hanging in there pretty good. So now I get to call the customer and say, hey, we laid down 756 rear wheel horsepower on your tow truck. It has a billet intake runner on it, right? Like, this thing's pretty epic. Give him a call. If you want to put the 14 mil pump on it, we'll put the 14 mil pump on it. We'll add some more rail pressure, and we'll see if we can actually hit that goal. I'm impressed with it. That VGT put up a battle. I would love to see a calibrated power solution, one of their new VGTs on this same truck, and see what this thing would do turbo for turbocharger. But Asian guys, you got to see another Asian on the dyno, go over 700 rear wheel horsepower. So I'm calling the customer saying, hey, are we dynoing this thing again, or is it coming home to you? Make for sure and like, subscribe, and we'll see you here at Point Blank Performance. Ready when you are. Rough draft number 1.
Well, there's only one take, brother.